It's Reg Kelly, Table in the Wilderness, and I today want to do a clip real quick on what you and I can do in the way of taking action in the face of this assault by the Democrats upon the Second Amendment, upon our Constitution, upon our liberties, and upon our freedom. First of all, let me just say this to you, that we need to really understand their real objective. Their real objective is to totally destroy the freedom of this country as a free people. And they're doing what tyrants and socialists and communists like Stalin and Lenin and Hitler and Mao Zedong and all of them did down through history, and that was to disarm the populace so they can literally bring you under slavery bondage. So you need to understand the objective. The objective is, of course, most of you know, listen to me, is not to protect people, to stop mass killings, because the real mass killings is going to start after they've disarmed this country. But we're not going to let them do that. So really, first of all, understand the objective. And then second of all, whenever possible and however possible, work through the political and constitutional system that our forefathers gave us. That means vote. That means call your senators, call your representatives. That means campaign. That means speak out. That means stand. That means do anything and everything you can, educate people, discuss it, and take a stand and let it be known that you're not going to be disarmed. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Do not let fear rule you. The Bible said God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And so you don't let fear not, he said, for I am with thee. So don't let this thing fear you. This, thirdly, have an answer. We need to have an answer to the problems of this mass shooting. Of course, most of it's just sin, of course, and it's base thing. But if they would hang or electrocute on television, live broadcast to the entire nation, these cowards and criminals who are killing people in mass murders, that it would stop. A lot of the crime in America could be stopped so easy it's not even funny. But we have an answer to the problem. But the answer is not to disarm law-abiding and honest people and legal Americans. But you need to have an answer. If you'd kill those people publicly, execute them by electric chair, hanging, one or the other, you'd see a decrease in crime real fast. And then, let me say this here further, work within your jurisdictional system. Here in Missouri, we have a bill that's we're trying to get through the state legislature. It's called the Second Amendment Protection Act. And what that does is it nullifies any unconstitutional federal legislation, and it also penalizes any agency or agent, law enforcement, any person who tries to enforce unconstitutional laws here in Missouri that would hinder or limit or affect the Second Amendment. So work within your state. I do believe that it's going to be through states that we'll see this battle lines will be drawn. And then one thing I want to encourage you to do, you need to talk to your law enforcement, talk to your military people and say, where are you going to be at? You took an oath to uphold the Constitution, not to obey some executive orders. We must have the law enforcement on our side, or on the side of truth and right, the side of the Constitution. So if I were you, I would visit with your local law enforcement, visit with military people, active military people, and ask them, where will you be? You took an oath to support the Constitution, to uphold it, and not executive orders and not unconstitutional orders. Let me just say this to you. Any person, law enforcement or military or elected official or bureaucratic agency that tries to enforce unconstitutional edicts and orders and legislation has made themselves out to be a criminal. And at that point, they're the criminal and they're the ones in trouble. And that's just the way it's going to be. So I just want to say to the military, the law enforcement, we're for you, we're behind you, we want to support you. But when you turn against the Constitution, what you swore to uphold, you're going to be in trouble with people. You need to know that. And so you need to stand with the Constitution and thus stand with the people of America. And then let me just say this clearly. You must refuse and resist obeying any unconstitutional legislation, edicts, orders, executive orders, or anything of that nature. Refuse to do it. Do not do it. Okay? I don't care what they come down with. Look it over. Make a determination. You can read. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Bearing arms is not about hunting. It's about warfare. Arms. And you look at it. If it's unconstitutional, resist and refuse and do not obey it. If they tell you that they want to register your guns or confiscate your guns or your ammo, whatever, don't do it. Period. Just don't do it. And then never, of course, register your firearms. Don't do that. That's stupid. So don't do it. You don't have to. Don't do it. I don't care who they are, and so forth. And then let me just say this to you. Be willing to suffer for righteousness' sake. Be willing to suffer for right. And I hope that you are, and then finally, you better get ready to fight. You better get armed. You better get trained. You better get your ammo. You better be ready, because we could easily, looks to me like, I don't believe the liberals are going to be content ever. They intend to totally dominate us and take us down. And they're not interested in any kind of coexistence or co-dwelling about things at all. They intend to take this Constitution, to take this nation down, the liberty, this republic down. They intend to make this a socialist, communist country. And so you better be ready to fight. This Reg Kelly, I'll take a little longer than I wanted to, but these are some things that you can do. So if you need to listen this over again, do these things. Keep it in mind. Be armed, be ready, refuse, resist, do not comply. Work within the constitutional system we can, as long as we can. Try to stay away from any kind of armed conflict if we can at all. Try to work through the system, but be prepared. And then be active. Stand, voice, vote, run for office. Do what you need to do. Understand the battle for what it really is. This Reg Kelly, Table in the Wilderness, and we're not going to be defeated. See ya.